by Olander. It looked like it was going to be a turnover, and just as he did on Saturday, Olander gets the first basket of the game.
Apparently another called play to go inside to Tyler.
They know they can pound Butler inside like Florida did, like Pitt did. And we'll see if they can get Matt Howard in foul trouble. That would be huge.
Those ended up being the only 2 points of the night for Olander. The shot blocked over to Van Zandt. 12 on the shot clock. Wisconsin driving in. Good move. Off the glass. No, and it's off the front of the rim. Chased down by Van Zandt.
Perhaps the length of Lamb again bothering Matt.
Alex Oriaki, the sophomore.
Well, you see the strategy right away from UConn. They want to pound Butler inside. UConn's bigs are not necessarily scorers. In fact, Oriaki doesn't have a double-figure game yet in this tournament, but they're making an effort to score in the paint.
Well, in the game the other night, they got 20 points and 20 rebounds from their front court players, did UConn.
Stakal, can he do it a second time? No, wide left. Tapped out. Mack doing a good job of tapping it out where he could get it. Now driving on Walker, and again he's missed a short shot.
Kemba be a consistent three-point shooter. He's okay, but that's not the strength of his game.
Good opening minutes by Olander, who goes to the bench, replaced by Niels Gaffey, the freshman out of Germany. And now Matt Howard has a chance to touch it, and it's blocked by Smith. Saved underneath. There's Roscoe Smith with the block, Andrew Smith with the save.
You know, it's interesting, Jim. Butler is 7 and 8 in games where the Bulldogs have shot a lesser field goal percentage than their opponents, which points out their ability to win defending, rebounding, and winning the free throw game.
Andrew Smith gives it up outside. Perimeter passing, sets up Howard. No, he missed all.
Incredible. Everybody on the same page, every possession.
Ronald Norrad into the game for the first time. The guard, number 5, in the far right corner. Connecticut now has missed its last 8 shots. Howard, he needs a 3, hasn't had one in Houston. Now he's
in position. Andrew Smith is going to have to fight him more to try to keep him from getting to the sweet spot on that low block.
Mack from the wing. And he to the basket. It's Niels Gaffey. Beautiful move with the left hand. He got a lot more minutes in that game against Kentucky than anyone expected.
Didn't score, but were significant minutes. Eight minutes total. Had a steal, a couple rebounds. Played pretty well, and Gaffey a factor here.
Well, so far the front line of UConn enjoying an advantage inside.
That is on Oriaki. Apply for 2012 Daily Masters tickets for the very first time, just announced today, as Van Zandt puts it up. Go to Masters.com. Back out to Norrad.
Kyle Marshall on the floor as well. He's had 22 offensive rebounds in 5 tournament games in only 89 minutes of play.
Tapped around. It's Marshall with the rebound, which he does so well coming off the bench. Up ahead to Howard, and now with his first 2 of the night.
Well, if they set that screen, excuse me, Steve, if they set that screen a little lower and try to go underneath it, he's going to be right in his wheelhouse because he's a 50% two-point shooter.
And great point. That was the first adjustment that we've seen in this game. Jim Calhoun sliding that pick and roll down, and Walker taking advantage.
Zach Hahn on the floor for the Bulldogs. He had a big game against VCU.
He sure did. An 8-0 run that was huge.
Howard, in his first 2 years, which included a Final Four year, had a big part of that team getting to Detroit in 09. 11 30-point efforts this year.
And that's his 43rd free throw attempt in the tournament. That's 5 games plus.
That was Norrad, who's so good at that.
He's
with
terrific.
Quick hands. Garrett Butcher on the floor right now, trying to set a little screen. Number 32 for Butler, and foul on Howard. And the leap and leaner is short.
And the discipline of Howard, so important, because that's how Kemba Walker drew Derek Williams' first foul in that Arizona game. That pump fake and jumping into the defender. Important for Howard to maintain that defensive discipline.
Van Zandt, no.
More athletic, they're also a little taller at just about every spot.
Bounce it inside. Smith, and falling on him and committing his second foul is Oriaki.
That's also the 6th team foul, so from here on out, they'll be in the bonus.
Tomorrow night, the Division I women's.
Caught the whole Notre Dame game, and Skylar Diggins was fantastic. And
looked like he might have it for the Huskies, and Max on the break. Max still has it, and it's stripped away.
Often Butler recovers when it looks like UConn's got an advantage and they're going to score. Butler just flies to the ball and gets the right angle and keeps UConn from scoring.
That's part of the persistence in their DNA, Steve, I think. They just don't give up. They play through possessions, and this is a big.
Boy, Napier making Mac's life miserable over there.
He's an excellent on-ball defender. Really good lateral quickness, and he's active with his hands.
How good was he against Brandon Knight the other night?
Marshall fakes the shot, drives baseline, off the front of the rim.
Well, it's been a tough shooting night for the Bulldogs. They've been throwing them up there like day-old dinner rolls. It's been really wide, right, and hard, and off the mark.
And yet, with all that, you know, any of those easy points for either team is so important here. You can see it's going to be an all-out war in the paint and in the half court. Both teams just struggling to find anything.
You got Mac out, you got Howard out. They're two primary scorers for Butler.
Well, we saw them play pretty good basketball in the same scenario.
Early, I like the matchup for Butler because UConn just does not have the ability to stretch that defense out. And Butler just so good with their rotations, and they don't have a lot of floor to cover with this matchup.
Nice job by Kemba Walker to force Mac one way or the other.
Stegall short.
You know, just the ball bounced his way. And in this game, it may be decided by the bounce of the ball and who can get lucky a few times and get a point or a basket.
Maybe it'll come down to another last-second launch. We're in Space City after all. Coming off of last year, who knows? Maybe another finish just like that. Howard. Short with that one. Making the play is Van Zandt. Mac weaving through traffic. Lost it, but Smith is there. Mac. Yes, with a three. And that was his first jumper after getting the free throw to jump up and force the theft.
I think that's twice now that UConn has lost the ball on a baseline out-of-bounds play.
That's right.
And in the game the other night, they seemed to score every time they had the ball inbounded. Oh, nice entry pass there.
Howard, well defended. Ball tapped around, and Napier for UConn. Around to Van Zandt.
Well, UConn went away from that pick and roll. Now they're just flattening out, seeing if Walker can go one-on-one.
Well, he can get his shot off anytime. You can see that.
Mac, that one rattles out. Smith has it. He waits. On the bench with 2:40 to go in the half. Down with the two fouls. And Mac back out to Norad. And Howard playing away from the basket now. 12 to shoot. Smith. Trying to get the baseline. It's the other Smith. Smith on Smith, and Roscoe of UConn makes traffic. UConn allowed a season low, season best just 21 to Kentucky in the first half. And here's Neal replaces him. 8-second differential here on the clocks. Left-handed hook and put up too strong, but right back out. They could save it for the final shot of the half.
And they will.
I like the execution, though. They got Smith on the smaller Coombs McDaniel. He just couldn't convert.
Yeah, he rushed it, I thought.
Yeah.
5 to go. Will Butler have the lead at halftime? Mac with a long-range shot. Yes!
Showed the ability to shoot over the top of this Butler defense. I think that's their best attack, is to go with Lamb off those screens rather than try to go at those high pick and rolls with Kemba Walker.
Stegall chases down his missed three. And again, Butler's only made one two-point shot. Oh! He's been averaging 18 here in the tournament.
He picked up those 2 quick fouls, and that took him out of the game. But you can bet that UConn is going to look his way, try to get him going here.
So often, though, when you get into early foul trouble sometimes.
Calhoun has made. He's running Walker off screens. He's running Lamb off screens, and they're trying to attack from the baseline instead of the top of the key area.
Takes away a lot of help when you isolate like that, Steve. If you're in the middle of the floor, the defenders can get a bead on you. And Lamb starting out defending Mack, and his length is a problem.
Back out to Howard. Whips it over, and three-point land, no for Mack.
Rebound for UConn. The length and athleticism has just been a nightmare for Butler.
Puts Connecticut up 26-25. Last 7 to the Huskies. Mack. Coke Zero Social Arena.com.
Roscoe Smith back on the floor after getting a chance to think about the mistake he made early.
Smith backing in on Oriaki.
Butler
with one basket here in the first 3 minutes. That three by Stegall, and that is again Oriaki making a play.
Penetration has to be with the idea of kicking it out to an open shooter.
Out at that end on Oriaki.
Both of these teams so good in transition defense, Steve. Very rarely do you catch them off balance in that regard.
Howard long with it. Also on that day be celebrating his 21st birthday. And when I talked to him about it last week up at campus, he said, don't forget it's also Mother's Day, May the 8th. That's Mack. Floater, no. But gets it back. Snaps it corner. Stegall fakes the three, drives on Walker, and that's rejected. Stegall, though, alertly taps it to Norad. Oriaki, just a sophomore, who committed to Connecticut, entering his sophomore year of high school. His dad wanted him to play for Jim Calhoun.
And quite honestly, I don't think the game has been poorly played. The shot making has just been dismal. There haven't been a ton of turnovers. Haven't been a bunch of bad plays, just missed shots.
Norad with another miss. And he wants to run with it, and he almost got his pocket picked by Walker. There's Mack. Pull up three, long. At this time, Mack snaps it up ahead. Here's Marshall coming in on Oriaki. Pulls up, and it rolls out. And it's Norad saying, I'll bring it back out. Butler has missed its last 11 shots. Able to come back out with it.
It's been tough.
Look at the numbers, 7 for 41 for Butler.
You ever seen anything like that in your life?
Never seen anything like it. And they're 6 for 22 from the three-point line. So that means they are 1 for 19 from two-point range.
A lot of those have been blocked or challenged or changed inside. And finally Howard with a tough shooting break. That ball was down and out. He has really stepped on the gas pedal, hasn't he, in the second half?
Yes, indeed. Lamb with 9. In the second half. Meanwhile, Butler at this end, approaching 7 minutes without a basket. Since that Stegall three coming out, Norad gives it up. Man.
Being able to pick and pop and make a couple of threes to open up this defense, it just hasn't happened.
Van Zandt comes crashing in sometimes and makes some really great plays down low for a 6-footer. Here he is. This time,
it's style and it's pace of play, but shot making has to take place if Butler's not going to lose control of this.
The 2 free throws by Napier. Ups the lead back to 7.
And you would think UConn is looking to seize the moment here. Back there, Van Zandt on the mid-range jump shot if he gets a good look.
Guys, Howard and Mack combined are 3 for 20. Over the top, Smith got caught underneath. Here he is, Stegall. He hits back at Lamb for 2 more.
What an adjustment from Jim Calhoun at halftime. We haven't seen one high pick and roll.
Nope.
We haven't seen a side pick and roll. It's been all baseline screens and sending shooters off of screens to combat that great Butler defense.
That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Bounce pass inside. Andrew Smith left hand short. In passing one another a little bit, but these two programs have never met in history until tonight. For all the chips here in the championship game, down low. It is Howard, and that went up.
I've never seen anything like it.
No, it's a first for me as well. Championship game or not. But certainly in the title game.
9 minutes to play. Howard spins, kicks it back out. Felt the pressure. Van Zandt long with the shot. Oh, it's the one who climbs up to tip it away, force the turnover.
It's the third turnover off the out of bounds on the baseline.
Van Zandt with the three. No. Walker shot from the corner. Got two players down. Up ahead, Norad. Quick pass. Smith underneath. Underneath the cylinder. Can't make that.
To do right now.
Well, when you're not making shots, and you try to figure out something at the defensive end, Steve. Yep.
Howard three-point shot. Dips down.
I don't want to overcredit the defense, though. There have been shots missed that are good shots. And it's not.
Look at this. Now they got a 3-on-2 from behind. Walker chasing him. Mack, maybe he'll get him going right here. No. And for UConn, because he liked Jim Calhoun and he loved the way Emeka Okafor was coached and how he did in his academics, graduating in 3 years. Calhoun came to Houston and got Okafor right out of this area, about 5 miles from the stadium here. Hopkins on the floor for Butler. Smith, jump hook, no. And Howard.
While Butler's continued to go through.
Look at that body control by Shabazz Napier. Napier's brother Will Blaylock, who played in the tournament for Iowa State, is watching this game in the middle of the night over in Greece, where he's playing ball. Been Skyping his younger brother during the tournament to keep up with him, encourage him. Outside Van Zandt, he's got an open three, and one of the great plays of the year, winning a Big East game with a move like that at the end. Big East tournament game. Howard driving in, and he thought he might get a foul call
by the Huskies, and a night to forget for the Butler Bulldogs as far as shooting the ball goes.
Zahn. Hands by Van Zandt.
Nice closeout by Napier there.
Hopkins to Howard. Zahn. Open three, way short, Van Zandt. 2 minutes to go. Step back, three, yes. He talks about attitude, academics, and athletics. And his son came into that locker room with the A game, didn't he, after that time? To the family and wondering if they can go ahead and escape the last 130. Certainly all signs look good for the Huskies, as Mack nearly has it stolen.
Saran-wrap defense most of the night by UConn.
Van Zandt, no. Outside the Napier. Butler.
I really think it's important for Butler to be in attack mode offensively, Jim, because of the pressure that VCU.
Mack. He's going to take middle, and he's going to pull up. Some nifty dribbling past Rodriguez. He's in the lane. Come back out with it. Howard, who became a three-point threat this year. DePaul with a long-range three. And it's pulled.
Nixon.
He's missed two from the outside, and Butler clears again.
But you like the quality of the shots, Jim.
Well, they've had 4 cracks at it. Haven't made a one so far. Down low, Mack.
And now full court pressure here. This is where Butler has to really be in attack mode, in my mind.
Javonte Redick has come in. First points of the night. Big shot, Brad, as they call him. Hits the three. Double up now on Van Zandt. They break the press. DeGaulle taking it, and underneath Smith left alone. Misses it with the left. Have hit 2 from the outside the last 2 trips.
And this is their best lineup. We saw Haley go to the bench early. They like to go small with Burgess at the 4, Redick and Skeen. That way they can space the floor and get open shooters.
And they've got
time. Burgess with another one.
Well, so much for the nerves.
All it takes is one to go down, Steve. You know that as great a shooter as you were. One goes down, and that basket becomes cavernous.
So again, Butler brings in Marshall for the first time. Very productive minutes in the tournament. Their top scorer off the bench. Mack wants to take the three. Basketball, Mr. Basketball out of North Carolina. And that's 11 unanswered, and they almost force another turnover. Van Zandt gets it up ahead. Howard with a 3, and no one. Well, there's Marshall on the follow. Howard quickly sending it over to DeGaulle, who snaps it to Van Zandt with a 3, and Butler rattles out.
Average 11 three-point field goal makes per game in the tournament, Jim. They've made 53. Zach Hahn on the floor. Ronald Norred, and look at how quickly this VCU team closes out when they get into that aggressive trapping style defense.
They will fall back into either man-to-man or zone. Man-to-man on this one.
And they mix it up nicely. And it forces you to use shot clock as you're trying to recognize what defense they're in.
Double up on Mack, 5 to shoot. He finds Norad, puts up the jumper, never touched the rim.
Able to reel in that defensive board. But Zach Hahn and Ronald Norred, Jim, both matched up with guys that are 3 or 4 inches taller than them.
Howard with a 3. It's short. 2 from that corner, 1 from the other.
And the extra pass is what's so key for this offense. Every single player on this VCU team willing to make the extra one.
No, Howard.
Look at whatever. The eye test with VCU that happened last weekend for me was they were so much quicker than both Florida State and Kansas. They look much quicker than Butler here to me at almost every position.
It's Howard and
out on shooters.
They've got tremendous closeout ability.
Kansas shot 2 for 21 from the three-point line. Much of it from open looks, or many of them from open looks. But as the game goes on, you miss more and more of them. That rim gets smaller and smaller.
No question about it. And I think that's part of what happened against Kansas as VCU was able to continue to spray those threes.
Butler shooting only 27%. Tapped up, no. And plucked away by Marshall. Butler's missed its last 5 shots.
They've been able to knock down free throws, Jim, which serves 2 purposes. 1, you score the ball, but 2, it kind of slows down the pace at which VCU wants to play.
Both Mack and Howard on the bench right now. So looking for an offense. Someone to take it out here. Van Zandt, no.
Look at Marshall work that glass.
No call. Smith almost lands on his teammate, then puts it in the pond.
And guys, we talked about VCU's small lineup. It results in difficulties for them on the glass. Last week, Florida State out-rebounded them by 20 on the offensive glass. Kansas had 18 offensive boards themselves, so that's a factor here. You got to watch that tonight.
Pond goes back outside. That pass got out strong for Brandenburg, and Butler controls it. Well, this lineup did so well without the 2 stars. They stay with it.
Yep.
And that pass.
Peak. Here come Howard and Mack reporting to the scorer's table. I know I don't sit next to my wife when my son is playing games. We want no part of each other. Too nervous.
I know that feeling. I've been there before with our children. But you're right. Well, actually, Matt Howard and Shelvin Mack have returned to the bench. In part, they don't want to be in the way of live action, so they will be checking in, I think, on the next dead ball.
Now, this elevated floor makes for some different dynamics in these games.
2 to shoot. Marshall, short. Chased down to the corner by Norad. Norad comes back out with it. They've been trying to get it into Smith the last 2 possessions. Shot blocked.
No trap here, so Norad will attempt to bring it himself. Then they surprise you with the late trap there. Sometimes they'll trap you in the corner, deep in the backcourt. Other times they'll bait you into picking up the dribble around half court.
They love mixing the defense up. Remember, Shaka Smart worked with Billy Donovan in Florida, who's renowned for his
position, took his time, and got an easy one.
How about the depth of this front court for VCU?
Exactly.
Beal and Reddick come into the game when Schoon goes out, and both guys played extremely well in the regional.
Well, Shaka Smart gets contributions from all 9 or 10 guys that he played. And ultimately, they look to try to wear down the opposition with that frenetic style and that constant pressure at both ends of the floor.
6th team foul on the Rams. That's Mack. And
time against Florida. Had, what, 30 against Pitt in that crazy game. And he's the guy who can break down this VCU defense when there's nothing else there.
Van Zandt
surveyed what the situation was and got the shot he wanted when he wanted it.
Well, they switched on that out-of-bounds play, and another turnover now.
He can go over both shoulders. He is a tough cover. But when I saw Butler win that Horizon League Tournament Championship game, that's when I sensed they had really turned the corner and were primed to make a good tournament run because the defense had really picked up.
Van Zandt loops it up. No. Over the top pass to Matt. Matt takes the three and
timeout. They got the ball in to the middle of the court instead of getting trapped on that sideline.
Mack comes in and the
excellent work to get to that offensive glass. He beat Howard to the loose ball there.
And VCU comes right back with the full court pressure.
So important for them to score, Steve, in order to apply this full court pressure and try to get the tempo back to where they want it.
Underneath.
Mid-February is when they got back to playing that kind of defense.
Well, they had the arrow off the tie-up. They got 1:25 to go in the half.
And the difference now, they're pulling the ball back out against that pressure, setting it up, not taking quick long-range shots like they did early in the game. And that's allowed them to control this pace.
And also it gives them a chance to draw foul and get to the free throw line.
Step back three, Howard. Van Zandt somehow coming. Got about a 15-second differential. Norad at the controls here for the Bulldogs. Driving it in, dishing it out. Stegall from the corner. Got the steal, can't make the three. Howard tips it over where he can.
And again, they've got to score the ball consecutive times to try to speed up this pace and allow their depth to be a factor and their defensive energy to be a factor. That's an offensive foul on Andrew Smith.
Final four, I'll take the Butcher over Veal and Lamb. He wins that one.
I'll take the Fish. Bob Fishman in the truck in his 30th Final Four on his birthday today. Stegall from the corner. No, and the rebound right back to him. Tries to whip it start for the Rams the first 5 of the half.
An excellent start, Jim. And it allows them again to get into full court pressure.
Double team, they break it. Mack surveys, they come up on behind and force the travel.
Too casual. You've got to be in attack mode.
That was for the lead back. Butler's turned it over 3 times in the first 2 minutes of the half.
I think they've really picked up their defense, VCU. You see the energy as Howard can't get the 3 to go, but VCU playing.
First 7 of the half. The first lead since 24-22. The pressure keeps on coming. Nearly a midcourt violation. Backcourt violation.
Very impressive surge here by VCU, but you see the benefit of putting the ball in the basket. Not just does it move the scoreboard out there, but it gives you a chance to play at the pace that VCU wants to play at.
Matt goes high with the dribble, and he came over to help. Howard, 3 from the wing. Oh, he thought he made it. He's sliding to his right after he shot it. Timeout called on. Howard gets the first batter. It's Van Zandt.
Yeah, not what VCU was looking for. That was a little quick. They've been excellent with their execution here in the second half. To that point, not a good possession there.
Boy, their activity and energy, really excellent. VCU and Butler, both of these teams really give you tremendous effort for the...
Norad,
yeah.
And put a little wrapping around that.
And interesting, meanwhile, Shelvin Mack still on the bench. He has 2 fouls, so really fouls are not an issue, but Brad Stevens has gone early to his guard.
Temple is wanting to give him a little rest early in the half, knowing that down the stretch he may be called on for big minutes the rest of the way.
Wild Norad,
yeah.
And put a little wrapping around that.
And interesting, meanwhile, Shelvin Mack still on the bench. He has 2 fouls, so really fouls are not an issue, but Brad Stevens has gone early to his guard rotation with Zach Hahn.
Remember in the first half, though, Shelvin Mack and Matt Howard, if you're Butler and make Rodriguez finish as opposed to find open shooters.
And we're going to see the 2-3 zone from Shaka Smart trying to protect Skeen, who's got those 3 fouls.
That's right.
Mack will be coming back in on the next whistle.
And you need his three-point shooting ability against any defense, but particularly a zone.
And it may be that Brad Stevens wants to have either Howard or Mack on the floor at all times.
Good point.
Norad takes a long one. His 8.
Looked like VCU was going to end up with a great look somewhere, but Butler continued to rotate. That's what stands out about their defense. They rotate once, twice, 3 times, whatever it takes.
Norad.
Now, when Norad can do that, he can run your team and he gets loose balls.
On with a 3.
And again, full-court pressure.
One for 2 in a row. He's got it. Zach.
By the way, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm going to say. How many of those did you have?
0.
Andrew Smith. Jump hook and underneath.
Shoot the ball well, but he creates extra possessions.
That's 5 on VCU. Here's Mack driving in and block.
Read by Rodriguez and Rozelle.
Knocked out by Coach Smart.
Dr. Smart wants his team to continue to apply the pressure, but they've got to be able to do so without fouling. Mack has been quiet this half so far.
Hahn drives in, goes the other side. Hahn is ready to load it up. Now it's Mack. And long time.
Boy, there have been a couple like that
Sure
for VCU this half. The tip in by Veal that didn't go, and that one.
Mack, he's on the board with a 3.
He could have been a 4th on Matt Howard. Shaka Smart letting the official know right there. But that's what he does. He keeps his hands high.
Exactly. I thought that was a good defensive play by Howard. You can go up, chest the guy that's coming into you as long as you maintain verticality. And I thought Howard did that well there.
Butler's out rebounded. The Rams by 12. Here's Norad. Running past Rodriguez and Smith. Oh, he thought about James.
Yeah, you know, the Howard play, keeping his hands high, he gives him a little bump down low with the legs, but the officials don't see that. They're very wise with their defensive rotations and how their physical play manifests itself.
You're exactly right, Steve. Zone defense here by VCU. Got to tag him, though.
Matt way outside and got stolen away by the Bulldogs.
And he'll pull up here if they don't tag him.
He's going to take it to the hole. Puts it off the glass for
every single play, so he's always susceptible to foul trouble. I think you mentioned it earlier, Jim. He was in foul trouble a year ago in the Final Four.
He was.
Both games.
Well, if you're VCU, you want to take advantage of that by going through Skeen in the half court. Butler will play through Shelvin Mack.
Mack, fade away, rattle.
They need that.
54-50, Butler.
And look at the on-ball pressure from Theus and Rodriguez. This team has so much energy.
Taking it in on Skeen and off-balance 3 as he pulled up and was ready to make a second one.
Well, I tell you what, VCU has had about 4 shots go down halfway and come out inside, and that time on the transition 3.
Norad to Marshall. Base leader, no. Long rebound by Norad.
Excellent job from Butler chasing Rozelle off that screen. That's something they do so well. They get low, they work around those big screeners, and they stay in the face of the shooter.
Not a lot of offense out here for the Bulldogs. Van Zandt can get his own shot, though.
Here it is. Yeah.
VCU.
And that's knocked out. It'll belong to Butler out of the timeout. Under 6 to play. On.
Looked like Rozelle got bumped on that drive to the hoop.
Yeah, there was some contact. Nothing called. Been well officiated both ways. A tough, physical, hard-fought game.
Downtown. Rebound, Norad.
That's another one. You see Rodriguez throw his hands up in frustration. 2 in a row from the three-point line that have rattled in and out.
The margin was 5 when Howard went out with his 4th foul. Increased the lead to 6, looking for more, including hitting 2 free throws.
Yep.
Trim it to 58-54. Howard drives in, careful not to be called for a charge, so he slides.
The confidence they've gained from being in tight games and coming out on the right side of the scoreboard. You would think the advantage belongs to them in this kind of situation.
Norad inside and puts it up and slides off.
I think Skeen lost his balance, and that allowed Smith to get all orange there.
Both teams look a little tired right now. With timeout coming under 4. Now, this has been a slugfest.
We didn't expect anything less.
Mack back outside with 15 to shoot. We've had no field goal on either side for over 3 minutes.
Might be Mack time, though. Especially with a big guy on him.
Well, he goes to the corner instead. Van Sant.
Because it's still a 2-possession game now. At this end of the floor, you got to be thinking about playing through Howard and Shelvin Mack, although Van Sant is very capable of getting his own shot.
Inside Smith, back outside Norad. And the shoot.
Uh-oh, this is a mismatch. Van Zandt should try to work on Skeen here.
Gonna take it from way outside instead. Short shot.
Like no call either way.
Yeah, he didn't elevate enough. He didn't get the ball up enough. He made an excellent move, but just didn't get that ball high enough on the glass.
Butler trying to use as much of the 35 as possible. With 1:10 to go. Van Zandt with 8 to shoot. The baseline fade away. No.
And you see Brown inside the painted area with the game's first bucket.
He could be the key guy in how far Pitt advances in this tournament. They've got to get big games out of them. He's their most athletic player.
Howard, who can face up as well as post up, turns it over. It took World Championships. So those two know a thing or two about one another.
Right, he's very much a Big East type of player and type of guard. Very tough, very physical, good size.
Smith comes up with a rebound. Howard trying to work pick and roll. Nice dunk, little high low. Comes up.
He is
with the bucket.
He is their most aggressive scorer, Tim, and he really moves well without the basketball.
Howard puts it on the deck, almost turned it over. Shot clock under 10. Van Zandt launches. With our new platforms this year, you're able to see more games, more head staged, obviously, in that matchup against Richmond. That one winding down. Aaron Lundquist, Bill Raftery on hand for that one, plus other games to get free for that bucket.
Yeah, that was a trip to the chiropractor. I saw Howard's neck snap back a little bit that time.
No wonder he prefers being outside now. Butler with 3 field goals in their last 3 trips down the floor. Mack working on Brown. Howard from downtown.
Watching tonight from Connorsville, Indiana, or Indianapolis. They are fired up.
Yes, they are. McGee dropping that one through. Lewis, Mike took me over to meet the entire family. You talk about a fantastic bunch. From basket side as Nasir Robinson goes to work.
Well, and so far, both teams' strengths have been on play here in the first part of this game. Pitt dominating the paint inside. Butler working from the three-point line.
Alley-oop for Stegall.
Circa 85 performance. 2-3 zone now for Pitt.
It into the hands of Van Zandt.
Sean Van Zandt is going to have a long night tonight because he's going to have to run off a lot of screens chasing Ashton Gibbs around.
Smith working over McGee. Tried to go up.
Open look is your first shot, and Butler lost track of where he was. He's very aggressive when he comes into the game, Tim, looking for his own number.
How many great players has Jamie Dixon had from the tri-state region?
Wide open 15-foot jump shot. He's too dangerous of a scorer, but that was a well-executed baseline out of bounds play by Pitt.
Underneath, as you mentioned tonight.
Well, I'm sure in both timeouts that last go around they were talking about defense because Pitt's 8 of 11 from the floor.
And the rebound ripped down by Marshall for Butler. Mack again. John Adams and all of NCAA's officiating crew.
And especially elbows that connect above the shoulder area.
And Marshall comes away with a rebound. Norred, Mack, Marshall, Hahn, and Smith on the floor for Butler.
Now, granted, there haven't been many misses by Pitt, but I think that Butler has done a pretty good job of sealing off the defensive glass to this point.
Hahn.
Against Asheville, he really let everybody else become involved in the game early, but he's been much more aggressive, and he needed to be in this game to set the tone offensively.
Smith puts it on the deck against McGee. Pittsburgh did take the first time out. Butler the second time out in those scramble situations. But I get your point. Many times I think we're guilty of giving credit for what seemingly is a smart play, and it not always is when you decide to take that time out. Mack. Boy, it's an attack from Sheldon. All right, Greg, thank you. Butler has scored 28 points in less than 13 minutes without attempting a free throw, and they lead this one by 10 with 7 minutes to go here in Washington, D.C. Mack again. This time thinking that is the better call to make, to go with Marshall. Mack penetrating the zone. Little runner, that one on the way up. Van Zandt, Norred, Marshall, Mack, and Howard on the floor. There's the dump down to Howard.
No double team coming.
Howard going to that left side. Van Zandt. And Gibbs comes away with a big one. 30-24, Butler by 6. The lead was 12 just a moment ago. Howard.
Brown and Ashton Gibbs have stepped up.
Howard from deep.
On Van Zandt down low because of the size that Brown brings. Good recognition that time to get him the ball down low.
Panthers fan base is on their feet.
Shove in tune with what was at stake. Tonight he walked in and said execution would be the key, and so far they've done that well, but now the lead's slipping away. Tim.
Well, just as you mentioned, hoop.
Well, you see him come over and then the dive down low afterwards. And this is the slip of the screen. Beautiful play. No recognition on the weak side. Just a couple of guards standing there.
Design figure to get to the free throw line more than the opposition, Pittsburgh, don't they? Just by the way they play.
Well, and it's not through post-ups where they get to the line is crashing the boards and have you having to check out. It's not a traditional way, but that's how they stack up fouls. Got 11 assists on 13 made field goals. That is an outstanding ratio.
It is. And no panic when they fell behind by 12 as Butler was just lighting it up. And as we said, they're not the kind of team that's very comfortable down double digits. They usually control the pace of play. Mack. Saying that we didn't play it all the way I normally coach my teams in Pittsburgh. I had to adjust to the talent I had. Gordon Hayward, by the way, was also on that team and admitted openly that he was really the best player they had. Shot clock off. They'll wait for one. Howard gives it to Van Zandt. He pumps. That's what we had in half number one for Jamie Dixon's squad.
And a very good screen that time by McGee to free up Gibbs.
Smith, little jump hook over McGee, not there. Loose ball. Brown tried to tap it up with hopes that maybe McGee could go get it, but Shelvin Mack comes out of there with it.
You know, Jamie Dixon told Lewis that they were a plus rebounding, but they've had 5 offensive rebounds, only 6 second chance points.
Doesn't stop. His family's just a couple of hours away. You may recall Sam Young was from D.C. There are a lot of young men with his Pittsburgh team who are very acquainted with this.
Well, I think to the big extent, Butler's done a good job today, Tim, of playing without fouling and defending without fouling.
Smith not there.
The result, Pitts amped their defense up.
Just as Jamie Dixon told our Lewis Johnson at halftime. Norred getting the pick from Howard. Matt Howard's been noticeably quiet since the early moments of this game for Butler. Shelvin Mack hasn't, but they have snuffed out Howard offensively of late. Just 2 points in the last 21 minutes. That's an offensive foul on Kyle Butler. They've got a taller defender now working on Mack, as you see Gilbert Brown keeping an eye on him off the ball.
Clemson was hungry to score on that possession, did a nice job to get out of the violation, and then just kept moving with the ball.
San Diego State now up 3 on Temple with time winding down in overtime.
Double OT.
All right, Greg, a lot of people with their brackets looking forward to a potential Steve Fisher versus Mike Krzyzewski matchup, bringing back memories of the old days with the Fab Five. San Diego State going to Anaheim, the lead by 2. That's their first lead since it was 4-2 with 17:53 remaining in the first half. Van Zandt off the bounce.
Somehow.
15 for Gilbert Brown. 6 of 7 from the floor.
3 of 4 from 3.
Mack in traffic, gives it up to Howard, wide open for 3. Howard clears.
Brad Stevens want to gain control of the tempo a little bit here, slow things down.
Mack over Patterson. An outstanding execution on that end of the floor.
It's been amazing to me in this game, the percentage of shooting that's been on display. Both teams, Pitt at 57%, Butler at 52%, and these are 2 good defensive ball clubs.
Well, this is easily a game that could have been played next week. I mean, teams just absolutely scintillating on the offensive end of the floor.
Butler still has not shot a free throw in this game, Tim.
Norred on a dribble drive. That's enough. 51-48 Pittsburgh.
Ashton Gibbs has been quiet in this half, but other guys have stepped up for Pitt and gotten the scoring column.
Hahn, Norred, Howard, Mack, and Smith. The 5 on the floor. That's a block.
38 field goal attempts. 20 of them have been threes in this game.
Howard from downtown.
With a screen up top, a screen roll. Lazir Robinson doing a lot of his work in the paint.
Pittsburgh opens up a 5-point lead.
Pick and pop.
Mack with the dunk down to Smith. And accustomed to play-ons in the Big East when there's that much contact. I agree with you. It was a good goal. Mack.
Off the established starting position was late getting there.
I agree. You have to make adjustments to officials from all across the country when you get into this tournament. Van Zandt over those last two plays that G-Man touched on.
Not an empty seat here, Tim. This is a great basketball crowd.
Howard, not there. What work by Marshall against the tall trees. In the NCAA tournament, I think it reminds us all that just getting to the Final Four is a difficult accomplishment. Winning it means everything, but getting there also means a lot. Pick and pop for Howard. He finds Marshall cutting in the lane. He's fouled for Brown.
And it's been Gilbert Brown who has really stepped up and played well in this game. And it's funny, both Gibbs and Mack have been pretty quiet in this half.
Brown 17 points, 7 of 8 from the floor. Mack inside to Howard. He's quickly doubled. Almost lost it. Beautiful save by Howard. Shot clock nearing 10. And Brad Stevens calls him his workhorse. Let's see if he does it again. Right on.
Secondary scorer along with him, and he's done it in this game.
Just over 6 remaining. 7 ties. Largest lead was a dozen for Butler coming in the first half.
Tough cover for McGee with Howard out on the perimeter.
Shot clock under 10. Not surprisingly, Shelvin Mack's got it. Got his man airborne. Up the echoes of Bobby Darin, G-Man. What a performance by Mack. And he's really the kind of guard you would expect Jamie Dixon to have on his team. Howard goes reversal.
I'll tell you, that's a tough cover for Gary McGee.
Comes down with a rebound. He's only missed twice from the floor tonight. Marshall sets the pick, and there's the dribble drive. That's going to be a block.
Over these last 4 minutes, that has not been a big part of Pitt's offense. They haven't had to bury people on the offensive glass because they've been shooting at a high level, a high percentage.
That bucket into the 7-0 run for Butler. Mack, beautiful entry to Howard. In traffic, and he's
inside. 4 or 5, both areas.
Shelvin Mack's 29 points for Butler is a school record for the NCAA tournament. The lead down to 1.
Great matchup with Wanamaker on Shelvin Mack. Trying to work that two-man game with Howard to put some pressure.
There he is again. Boy, tied at 67 with 2:25 left. Smith has come back onto the floor. Van Zandt off the curl. Howard with a dunk down to Smith. Norad has it, and Brad Stevens wants a timeout. 60 ticks left. Butler an 8 seed. Hit a 1.
One else's hands.
In the last 9 minutes, no one is led by more than 4. Mack and Howard, little two-man game. He short-armed it. Smith with the instincts to get to it.
Washington 60-58 over Old Dominion. Matt Howard winning the game for him in the end, and 71-70, a controversial win over number 1 seed Pitt. Mack. And Andrew Smith with the rebound.
Well, both of these teams, terrific defensive teams as well. They dig in. They don't give away possessions. They'll make you work.
Andrew Smith during this 11-game winning streak for the Butler Bulldogs, averaging 10 points and 7 rebounds. He's the one guy that has allowed Matt Howard to roam free outside and knock down those timely threes.
7 on the shot clock for Mack. Trying to break down the defense, gets to the basket, finger roll is off the mark. He's 6'8". He's a player that feels most comfortable on the perimeter.
Not only feels most comfortable on the perimeter, but when he knocks down his first shot, he usually expands his game. He's one of those rhythm shooters and scorers for the Badgers.
Here's Howard, who left the 5 position this year and moved to the power freshman. And the ball knocked out of it by VCU.
Well, already, I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of those 36-33 games that we saw Penn State.
In a series that dates back to 1921, Wisconsin leading the series 17-13. And this is their first meeting since the 2001 season. Howard, the jump hook inside. Nankle, pure on the jump shot. It's a 3-pointer. Lure first team, all Big Ten. And he can stroke it from outside as well. A 38% 3-point shooter at 6 feet 10 inches.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup for Andrew Smith. He's not used to guarding guys that far away from the basket.
All right, the winner of the game, Greg, as you know, advancing to take on Connecticut for a trip to the Final Four. Our score here, 5-3, Wisconsin on top of Butler. Ronald Norred has checked in for the Bulldogs. That ball kicked, and now.
And he said, well, a couple things like this. He said, no, coach, I want to play here in Madison. That was actually his personality.
You can go to him early and often. He's mentally sometimes a little bit fragile when it comes to shooting unless he gets off early.
Spoken like a true rhythm shooter.
A Mack bounce pass inside, ball knocked away, picked up. Norred, who started last year in their national championship run, and now is coming off the bench, still plays the same amount of minutes though.
Well, Van Zandt recognized the mismatch, and he wants to take his shot clock down.
Comes up short, batted out. Nice job by Andrew Smith.
Yeah, I think his development as a sophomore has been key for this Butler Bulldog. Got off to a slow start, but this team has really found them.
Exploring the Butler defense. And you take a look at Wisconsin, there aren't any real post players in there. Lure's got the ability to do that.
But look at the size difference between Wisconsin and Butler. And right now, Butler's just outplaying them.
Mack, and that's a blocking foul.
That's close. Could have gone either way, but again, it's the Butler Bulldogs who are being the aggressive. They've shown that they're trying to get into the lane. You're going to get the benefit of the doubt calls.
And look how hard Brusiewicz is playing just to keep in front of Matt Howard.
Offense by Jordan Taylor.
Taylor averaging 16.6 assists in the first 2 games. Butler up by a point, and the Bulldogs throw it out of bounds. 11:57 to play in the first half. 11-10.
Basketball right at 82%.
How about a team shooting 82%?
That's unbelievable. That's everyone focusing at the charity stripe.
Matt Howard takes a 3 and buries it.
And that's the new element of his game. He's worked on it, and this year has really had confidence in stepping outside. And you know what? It's interesting because weapon for Butler. You see high screen and then the exchange. Howard steps outside because he knows his man is going to help him.
But Evans can't hang on.
Everything is difficult for Wisconsin facing the basket, the lower percentage shots.
Van Zandt bounce and hits.
That's nice. That's right. Represent West Coast ball, man. I thought you were going to say Kemba Walker.
Well, it pains me to say that, even though I'm calling Arizona. They were our arch rivals when I was at UCLA.
Mack almost traveled. 18-14. Norred to Van Zandt, who's been terrific to start, steps back. And John Lewis knocking down the jump shot. Tim Jarmas, a senior from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, cuts the Butler lead to 2.
We're talking about Lure posting up, though. If you're a post-up guy and you really want it, you go down there and fight for position.
Smith. Oh,
that's nice.
Left.
Made himself a big target to get it. And with the size and strength that Wisconsin possesses, I'm shocked that they haven't had more guys running to the post and isolating.
The Butler defense has been very disruptive, as you mentioned earlier, Lynn. Wisconsin averaging only 7.5 turnovers per game, which leads the nation. They have 4 turnovers already, and we have under 8 to go.
Well, not only that, I like what Brad Stevens, you get Matt Howard out the game, understanding that the under 8 timeout is coming here. You get a chance to rest him, plus a timeout.
Shelvin Mack the other way, hands it off. Stigall.
Well, that's one thing that all these kids from Indiana can do. They can shoot. The bad thing you're going to see a lot Bo Ryan do. He's going to try to put Jordan Taylor, especially on that post, because he can post up Van Zandt and he can post up Norred, use that body, that size.
Taylor, a very patient offensive player. Wow, inside, beautiful jam. With another jump shot. He averages 4 points a game on the season. He has 5 now, and it cuts the Butler lead to 4.
Trying to let these Wisconsin Badgers get going and get loose from that three-point line. Excellent three-point shooting team.
Inside the rebound.
Being that third option for Brad Stevens.
9 points for Van Zandt to start this game. Norred turns a corner hard, hands it off. Stegall. Air ball. Looks like he was bumped with 7 turnovers for the Badgers here in the first half. They're right at their season average.
And Butler playing like their mascot's name. Just Bulldogs attacking, playing aggressively, and will not let up.
Bulldogs really share the ball. Norred to the basket. Basketball doesn't work out. A hockey referee in the NHL.
And I can see that too. He works out with the Wisconsin hockey team, and he's an excellent skater from Minnesota. Him and his brother. His brother's about 6'8", 6'9".
So you put those skates on, they're about 7'4" or something, man. Wow.
Brother, a Princeton graduate, played on the football team there. Now inside Smith, and a foul. And so for more on Butler once again. Under 2 minutes to go. Norred, guarded by Jarmas, giving him 6 feet.
And again, it comes down to intensity. Butler just knows how to rev it up in this kind of setting, it seems.
Howard, big time, struggling.
That's unbelievable. Again, 82% as a team. Your best free throw shooters can't find the range.
They're 4 of 8. They're 50%.
Knocked away. Loose ball kicked out of bounds by Smith. These games you'll ever see.
And again, a lot of these guys on the Wisconsin team haven't been to this level yet. Sweet 16 and playing against a team that was the national runner-up last year. There's a certain level of intensity and focus you have to have, and right now the Badgers don't seem to have it.
Jordan Taylor does not seem himself. He's breathing heavily out of his mouth. He looks actually a little bit confused out on the floor.
Gosh, you and I were talking about this is another one of those like heavyweight fights where there's a lot of body blows going on, and it looks like Wisconsin, that's the 35-second
lead of the game now, 35-24.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm encouraged by that first play right there. John Lure in the post.
Smith misses the first attempt and gets.
Oh, Marshall's just going to have to play bigger.
Now for Bo Ryan, what kind of adjustment can his team make with Smith out of the game? And that may change the way this Butler team plays, especially inside. Pull-up jumper. And Wisconsin as a team really struggling. 8 of 26. Mack clears it. Van Zandt. Mack on his hip. Now Mack driving on Nankerville. Blocked by Nankerville. And a whistle and foul.
It tells you that maybe it is somewhat of a sprain, and they could tape it and get him back in.
And Matt here in this second half down here on this Wisconsin basket.
The struggle continues for Jordan Taylor.
This might be a timeout bucket right here. If you're Butler, if you knock this down, you might see a quick timeout here by Bo Ryan.
Well, again, the lid on that basket is also about the quality of the shots. You know, you got to be able to work your way. Look at the size of Wisconsin on their post-ups. They can work their way into higher percentage shots.
Well, they communicated this with one another.
Lob inside, deflected, picked up. Jordan Taylor. He's got Gosser with him. Taylor, Matt Howard. Back. What a save by Van Zandt.
Stegall and Van Zandt were both looking at the basketball. Van Zandt just jumping out, making the play.
Van Zandt slicing, kicking, up top. And that one off the front rim. Marshall with the rebound. Mack again takes Jarmas off the dribble and draws a foul. Back rim.
Now they're back to shooting threes. Brusewicz just shot a three, and Jordan Taylor.
Wisconsin 0 for 10 in the second half. Van Zandt will take his time. He's a sharp basketball player, Sean Van Zandt, senior from Tampa, Florida. 9 points in the first half. Set the tone early. Marshall Curler gets there. 14:02 to play.
But I tell you what, plenty of time left for Bo Ryan and this Wisconsin Badgers. But it starts at the defensive end for them.
And Andrew Smith is back on the floor, ready to check in the game. Bruzewicz with a great strip of Howard. Is on the baseline, and Howard kept it up high on the rebound. Quick outlet pass. Here's Mack. Stutter step on the baseline and a blocking foul to go against Taylor.
Impressive, isn't it?
Certainly is, Marty.
He's still a bit ginger as the way he walks.
And Howard with another rebound is 7.
What I like about him, what I like about Andrew Smith, he's not going to try to do anything out of his comfort zone. So all he really needs to do is try to play position defense and rebound the basketball.
John Lure is 1 of 10 from the field. And a foul on Bruzewicz.
Season, and tonight he's 2 of 11.
And Reggie, a couple moments ago you said it's not too late for Wisconsin, and to that extent I agree, but time is running out. The way Butler's handling the ball, the way they're attacking, you know, this kind of 15-point lead is almost like being 25 points. And look at them, they're using the clock as well.
So unselfish, this Butler basketball squad. Van Zandt, Howard a 3, combo point guard, and Derek Williams.
That's a shock. That is an absolute shock.
Why, Lynn? Why are you shocked? Anyone? Are you shocked that Butler beat Pitt?
No,
I'm not shocked.
But I know Butler, and I know Duke. I didn't know Arizona. That's what shocked me.
That's a good one.
Back door.
Oh, look at that.
On that one, a high screen. It was almost as if Van Zandt was aware of it. He just couldn't contain it.
But Van Zandt has done a great job all night containing Jordan Taylor. Taylor 3 of 13 from the field, 0 for 4 from the three-point line. You have to give all the credit to Brad Stevens and this team because they set the tone early on defense. Smith inside, gets it again, and he traveled.
Wisconsin and Jordan Taylor. But to me, you've got to make it up at the defensive end. You're going to have to come up with some stops, some timely steals, and try to get some easy ones.
Taylor, back-to-back field goals. Stegall, Matt Howard, high arcer. Off the forehead. He's got Van Zandt cross court, finds him, pulls up. And Valentine with the rebound. Valentine pulls it down again for his 9th rebound.
Yeah, Wisconsin got the shot that they wanted, 2 feet in the paint. They just missed it, but more of that has to occur to kind of balance the three-point attempts.
Howard in the post now. Backing up on Lure, drop step off the glass. Gordon Hayward playing with the Utah Jazz tonight, and he said he doesn't want any text messages. And a foul coming against Wisconsin. He doesn't want anybody to let him know what's going on with it.
Rim, that was all net, my friend.
Yes, yeah, it got loud. You're here. You're here, Red. Spirit of Reggie Miller. 49-34, 7:24 to play in the second half. Now Mack, pull-up jump shot.
And if you're a big guy, you feel like you're left out because long shots lead to long rebounds.
You, Tom Haynes, castaway.
Inside, that one.
You could say that. I haven't seen the numbers yet, but you could say that initially, especially when you play a very competitive team.
You know, quiet as kept. Wisconsin whittled this lead down to 12 points. It looks like Butler's offense, they're on a 10-2 run right here, has gone south.
Howard inside.
Loose. Got to start moving the ball from side to side and then look down to Howard.
Well, you're right. They went into their weave right now. High screen. Sheldon Mack needs to get off a little bit as well.
Now Mack, guarded by Nankerville. And a whistle and foul. Jarmus.
You know, besides Matt Howard, Sheldon Mack is the only other Butler Bulldog in double figures. So you now got a question down the stretch.
Well, let's see if
where's
Sean
the offense coming.
Well, Sean Van Zandt, who was marvelous in that first half, let's see if he can get it going again offensively. He does have 9 points.
Yeah, he's been scoreless in this half, though.
And Howard and Jordan Taylor missing the second free throw.
7 of 11 from the free throw line for Jordan Taylor.
Van Zandt keeps his dribble alive, backs it up. Eight to shoot for Van Zandt. Baseline, in and out. Play by Kyle Marshall.
Now you run another 25 to 32 seconds off this shot clock if you're Brad Stevens and the Butler Bulldogs.
12-point game.
Wisconsin, another opportunity to get this deficit down to 10-9 with the 3. But you blow it on the second shot opportunity, and the hustle by Butler.
And this game between the Badgers and the Bulldogs. Howard forced that one up. Chased down his own rebound. And out of bounds. 3:44.